What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to bring you a tutorial where I am creating a look that I envisioned had I picked up the Kaledios newest collection, which I really need to figure out what the name of this collection is. I keep just saying new collection, like everybody understands what I'm saying. Get it together. So I am here to do a tutorial featuring palettes and products that I thought would help me to create a similar vibe that I would feel had I picked up the Kaledios Smokey Nostalgia palette or collection. Now in this collection you have 5 blushes and 2 eyeshadow palettes. For me, I really didn't care about the smoky cooler toned one. I know me, I just really don't get a lot of use out of cool tones like this color scheme in my collection. I do have a black, I do have whites, I do have grays, so that was something I knew I could easily dupe out and I wasn't really feeling overly gravitating towards. But to me, out of the two, the more unique one was the cool tone brown. Now let me scoot over so I can have some pictures flying up for you guys. The neutral toned brown one just seemed like it was going to provide something that I did not truly think that I had in my collection. So I really wanted to shop through and see if I had something that could give me these similar vibes that I've already paid for. I could get more use out of it, potentially use it enough times that I pan it, who knows. And then in addition, there were a couple of the blushes that I was actually really interested in. One of the blushes, which is a deep burgundy, reddy, orangey type situation, that looked very intriguing. I also thought that the corally orange one looked beautiful. And then just for me being me, I also did really think that the brown one looks really unique and interesting as well. I've always been fascinated by these brands coming out with these browner toned blushes. I know they don't work on me, but I just thought it would be fascinating to potentially pick it up and see if it will work. Now, I have previously picked up a palette. No, I attempted to want to pick up a Kaledios blush product before. They had blush duos very similarly in the same packaging as they had their contour kit, but they were just overly way too light. It was known throughout the makeup community. That's kind of why they discontinued it, among some other things. I think people were also not feeling the packaging because the packaging had like black women on it, but black women clearly could not use the products. So overall, these were the products that were really getting me really intrigued, really motivated to pick it up. In addition, I did of course watch Lauren May Beauty's video on this collection, and me and her, we just vibe in a lot of ways. And the aesthetic that she was providing when doing the swatches and the tutorial with this collection, it just had me vibing. It had your girl vibing. So what I did is I shopped through my collection, and these are some products that I came up with. So I just wanted to show you guys the products in case you were interested. So the first product that I thought would be interesting to potentially look into is this NARS Pierre Hardy blush that I have, which is in Boys Don't Cry. Now this is a really like corally blush. I would say there is definitely some pink in this, and that will be important to compare it to another blush which I think leans a little bit more peachy orangey. So this one I thought would kind of be the equivalent, the dark skin friendly version of their lighter pink that they have in this collection. Really I love that blush. It is long gone now, but I picked mine up on third party and I still am enjoying it. The more orangey kind of version of that one is the Papaya blush from Laura Geller, and this one I think would be a decent alternative to their orangey one. This is clearly more pink in there, but that's okay, you know, I'm okay with it. So yeah, really excited to have found this. Then I found another one. They have like a lavender-y toned blush, and this one was my kind of equivalent. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic and Love is a Drug. This camera and everything is just really washing this out. This is darker than it appears. Hopefully in my close-ups you guys can see that. But it's a really pretty cool toned pinky purpley blush. I really do enjoy it, and it does show up on my complexion, hence why it stayed in there. And then the last blush that I pulled is something that's like completely off from what is in their collection, but I just had to, and this is my raspberry-ish blush. So if you didn't want a lighter toned kind of purple blush, this would be another one that I would recommend and actually think it would work with this color scheme. And this is in Plum Berry, once again from Laura Geller. So these were kind of the 4 blushes that I picked up. Like I said, I don't really have any brown blushes. I don't think there are any brown blushes that will actually work for somebody of my complexion, but I figured it would be really cool just to shop to see what gave me similar vibes that the collection was providing for me. Then they did have one brown liquid lipstick or kind of lip product that I was vibing with. It once again looked like a neutral kind of brown that's right up my alley, and so I decided to go ahead and shop my stash for this one. This is Fawn from Melt Cosmetics. It's a really nice, I would say really neutral, if not slightly cool toned brown. It is what is in the middle of my lips today. I did top it off with a gloss, and you guys will see pretty much for a majority of the video actually with me just having this in my lip liner, and then at the very end I topped it off with the gloss. So in case you want to see what it looks like on my complexion, you will be able to. Really like that formula. No problems with that formula at all. It is a liquid lipstick, but to me it's not very harsh and drying, so leave it at there. But then again, I don't have very dry lips. I have pretty normal, I would say, lip abilities, and I have a pretty high tolerance, I feel, when it comes to liquid lipsticks. Then it came to the eyeshadows. So I pretty much only pulled 2 eyeshadow palettes, and then I also pulled some singles. I ultimately didn't end up using all of them, so I will show you the singles that I did end up using, but you know, one of them you could pass. So the first single that I ended up using was Totally Toffee from Looxi Beauty. This is a pretty warm and light brown for me. Like, this could be something where I could low-key use to set my underbrow. That's how light-ish it is on me, but there is definitely a warm undertone, and I didn't really see that in the pan, so I wanted to give it a try. But as soon as I blended it into my crease, I could definitely see that peachy color coming through, and so it's just too warm overall for my look. I did kind of end up covering up that shade pretty much, but I figured I would still let you guys know. And then the other single that I looked into was from Sydney Grace as well, and this is in Brown Top. I think this is one of the better single shadows that I have that are leaning more neutral. I definitely think this still has a warmer undertone nonetheless, but this still works really good in this eye look overall. It is what you can see predominantly in my transition area. I am really enjoying this shade. I love Sydney Grace's formula. Highly recommend. I really love their mattes. Their shimmers, depending on the shimmer, sometimes they're not the best. Their multi-chromes are really good too, but anyways, that's the shade that I pulled for this look. And then I also pulled the Juvia's Place, the Chocolates palette. I know Juvia's Place, I know, but I already have the product, so let's just talk about it. And I really only pulled it for this cooler, more neutral toned brown over here. It is what I use to deepen out my whole outer V in this look, and I think had I not had this, I wouldn't have enjoyed this look as much as I do now. I think this is such a beautiful everyday go to work appropriate look, and it just looks stunning. It looks stunning. I don't even have anything in my waterline. I did not even tightline. It is all pretty much this. All of the depth that you see in my eyes is this right here. Juvia's Place, but that's a beautiful color. And then the last product that I used for my eye tutorial and to kind of dupe out the essence or the aesthetic that I felt I would get from the Kaledios products is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2 palette. Now I believe this is the only, I believe this is the only Dominique Cosmetics palette that I actually have, but not for a lack of interest. It's just, it never really worked out. So today what I did is I ended up using this one, which is the more neutral shade in this palette for mattes, and that is Coffee Bean. Although now looking at it, I think Cafe de Leche might have actually been a neutral tone crease color. So I will definitely be playing around with this palette a little bit more. And then I also went ahead and took Frappe and put that in my inner corner. So overall, this palette, I think if you needed, like, give me a palette that you think has enough neutral toned browns to create a very similar look, and it also has that warmer toned brown up there, cappuccino, which I think would give a similar look to my Sydney Grace palette, or my Sydney Grace shade. I do think this, but stay tuned. I tend to think things and then when I apply it, I'm like, oh no. So stay tuned for my favorites and fails. I am aiming to at least wear that once or twice before the end of the month, so I can tell you guys if that is the palette I was reaching for to create a very similar look to this. So I hope this was very informative. I hope you guys enjoyed these swatches, the talking part, and if you're interested in seeing how I created this look, let's just get into it. Hey guys, so like I said in the intro, today I'm basically going to be shopping my stash to just recreate a look that I have been envisioning and kind of hyping up in my head when I really went back and looked at the Kaledios. What is the collection? The new Kaledios collection. I will have talked about it in the intro. So since we're zoomed in like this, I did want to go ahead and just finish up my base, and then I think I can zoom in even more with this lens, and then we'll really focus on my eyes. So for my lips, they have this one lip, I believe it's like a liquid lipstick, but they're equivalent of it, and it's like a neutral brown. And y'all, okay, I was eyeing that like a hawk, but I shot my collection and I have Fawn. I have Fawn from Melt Cosmetics. So this is, I would say, definitely like a neutral cool tone lip product. So I do already have my lip liner from my Project Pan, which is Bite 044. And as you can see, extremely different. Extremely different. But what we're gonna do is we are going to layer these. I need to resharpen this. Update on my e.l.f. sharpener. It's doing beautifully. It's doing really, really nicely. So highly recommend that. I might throw on a gloss on top of it, but for right now, we're gonna go with that. And then another product that I was really intrigued by, they had some really interesting shades of blushes. There were like 3 or 4 that I was actually interested out of like the 5. So I did shop my collection, and I'm just going to show you guys the ones that I found. I'm sure I talked about them in the beginning, but anyways, this is a corally blush that I really like. It's from NARS. It's in Boys Don't Cry. I also have a Charlotte Tilbury blush, which is Love is a Drug. This is more of a cool toned pink. Unfortunately, my camera is really washing it out, but this outer edge is really darker than it appears in camera. Then I also pulled out a different corally blush, which is my Laura Geller Papaya. Really like this formula and that shade. And then of course, you guys, if you follow me for a longer period of time, you would know what this one is. And this is my Laura Geller in Plum Berry blush. So really like all of these. I do already have a cream blush on. The cream blush is from Colored Raine. It's in the shade, what is the shade? Rose Cream. I did try this in my Trying New Makeups earlier this month, I believe, and I just wanted to kind of finalize my thoughts. Everything else down below, because I do have a mixture of Project Pan and new products that I'm trying to test out on the background. Anyways, this is not why I'm rambling. I'm rambling because I need to figure out which blush, and I think I want to go for a warmer. These are both pretty dead on, to be honest. So which one am I going to reach for? I think I actually want to reach for this one. It's been a while since I've tried either of these on my face, but this is the one. There also is another blush like in there, the Kaledios line. It's like a dark like red, but with a really strong orangey undertone. that's another one that I was really interested in. As you can tell, I did not pick it up, but that's another one. Maybe I'll shop my stash a little bit better later on and see if I have something that can be helpful to kind of curb that interest of mine. So I definitely applied quite a bit, probably because that cream blush really attached it. Do not worry. That is the good part about always having your powder brush nearby. Okay. I think that all is coming down and looking really nicely. So I am going to prime my eyes, and then if I can zoom in closer, I will zoom in so that you guys can see me really putting this eye look together. Okay, apparently I was hyping my life up because this is as close as your girl's gonna get. But so the one of the two palettes that I was actually really interested in was the cool toned brown one. I think the smoky one is cool. I just know that I would never get any use out of it. Not the cool tone, I'm sorry, the neutral toned. But I do not have a palette in my collection that is full on true neutral shades. I don't even have a palette in my opinion that has a curation of a bunch of cool tone neutral shade, I keep saying cool tone, collection of neutral toned shades. So I picked up a stack of products and I'm gonna kind of hodgepodge them all onto my face. Like I said, I'm pretty sure at the beginning I kind of showed you all better accounts of everything, and yeah, I'll do my best to have, you know, all of the stuff popping on the screen and all of that jazz. So let us just get into it, because I don't want this to be an overly unnecessarily long video, because I ramble on as I tend to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna tap my eyes out one more time, and I am gonna take a big fluffy brush. This one happens to be from Smith Cosmetics. This is their 232. I'm gonna try this one, which is totally toffee. I feel like it is one of the better neutral-ish tones. I think this still pulls warm, but I think that I can make it work in this hopefully neutral toned brown look. And as you can see, it definitely pulls warm. You can definitely see that pinky orangey hint in the brown. So clearly I'm already failing. And this was kind of the thing, right? This is why I was so intrigued by that palette after seeing it swatched and also seeing people talk about it, because I just don't think I have truly enough shadows that are neutral tone, that are brown, and these would be perfect like going to work shadows. It just would. Anyways, we're gonna try and slightly deepen that up with the shade Brown Top, and this is from Sydney Grace. And I'm just gonna use the same brush, and yeah, this is definitely a better shadow overall. I don't know if they still have this shade, because this is when they were still calling themselves Feather River Body, but I definitely think this is a better shade, and I think you still got that kind of orangey hint, but I just, not gonna repeat myself at the 10th time, don't have shades, I think, that are neutral, in my opinion. So far that's my crease. Nothing crazy so far. I am just going to go ahead and reach into my Latte 2 palette. I feel as though this shade Coffee Beans is more neutral than this one, which is Cappuccino. So I'm hoping that when I put it on, it'll not only deepen up this look, but it'll also make it more neutral in tone. Oh, and this is a Royal and Land Nickel brush. I'm sorry. This is the Royal and Land Nickel BOM 46. So I'm definitely liking this shade Coffee Beans. I'm really liking that for the look. I think it definitely pulled this a lot more neutral. And for my complexion, it really shows up. It's a really nice, I would say, crease color. To me, I would like to bring this even deeper, so I am going to go ahead and try. And for that, I'm gonna go into my, I know this brand is going through things, but I have the product, so I'm gonna use it. This is my Juvia's Place Chocolates palette, and I'm trying to remember honestly, which one was cooler toned. I think it's this one, and I think in the grand scheme of things, these cooler toned products in these warmer toned palettes are actually more neutral. So I'm actually going to take this, try and be as gentle with it as possible, and just use this to add some true depth in this look. Okay, I'm just gonna do everything backwards, except for I'm not gonna use that same exact first shade because it was honestly pointless. And the Sydney Grace did the exact same thing. So I'm just taking that same and deepener shade. Okay, then I'm gonna take my same brush and go into the coffee break to blend that out. Okay, and to blend out even further, I'm going to take a fluffy brush. Actually, I'm going to just see what's still on this product, because Sydney Grace's products, even before they were called Sydney Grace, were never anything to play with when it comes to the pigmentation overall. And honestly, I like this. I like how it's looking. And I'm actually going to take a packer brush. This is from Eddie Funkhauser, and I am going to pack on that Sydney Grace shade, which is a matte. I'm really liking how this is looking. Really liking it so far. I'm just gonna make sure that that Coffee Beans shade from the Dominique Cosmetics palette really helps to sculpt my eye, because I'm doing such a matte toned look. Blend that out a little bit more again. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So inner corner highlight is going to be my shimmer, and I'm just going to stick with my Dominique Cosmetics palette actually, and I'm going to go into one of these three. Let's go into Frappe, which is like the lighter. I think this is definitely a warmer leaning shade, if not honestly pinky. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I may kind of tightline on the top of my waterline and all of that jazz with a darker shade, just to really emphasize all of that stuff. Make sure there's no hairs from my brushes. I'm gonna do mascara, all of that jazz. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna throw on a gloss over this lip combination, and I think we're gonna be good to go. So I will be back in just a second. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. So like I said, this is the finished look. I'm really enjoying everything that's going on here. So in case you're wondering, the gloss I topped this off was the Tower 28 gloss in Chill. I think that this really brought that lip color combination together. It looks so seamless, so beautiful. I think my eye look looks really pretty too, and I could see this being an everyday look. And that really was what I was trying to get from potentially picking up the Kaledios palette, but the cacophony of things just kind of all aligned. There were a lot of things coming out in this last week, honestly, that I've been interested in and potentially debating on picking up. In addition, the idea that they did not show any inclusivity with the swatches that they provided on their Instagram, on their website, and in what I can tell the PR that they've sent out, and it just didn't feel right in my spirit. I also did talk to you guys on the community page or on my community tab, and you guys kind of felt similarly that like if I got it, cool, otherwise no big deal, or it was just boring in general, so it was an easy pass. And so for me, I think it was really good for me to just take the time to shop my collection, see what I could come up with. And if we're being honest, if we're being truly honest, I think I could come up with this look with just this Dominique Latte palette. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and try and do that maybe tomorrow, or maybe a day for work, and see how it comes out. I would like to, of course, bring in that deepener shade from Juvia's Place. I think that really brought the look to a different level. Otherwise, I think it would have been really too flat for me personally, but I loved every shade that I used today, including the blush. Sorry, I'm trying to clean up. I enjoyed everything that I used today. I think my face overall looks really good. I am again using the Merit Beauty Perfecting Complexion Stick and Cacao, along with a couple other things from the brand. If you did not see that kind of get ready with me trying on new makeup where I featured pretty much everything that the brand sent to me, check out down below. I will go ahead and have that linked. And I think that's it. There's nothing else really to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful in the event that you were kind of going through a similar urge like I was. I had an urge to pick up one or two things, but at the end of the day, it just didn't feel right for me to do it. It didn't feel right for me to support the brand in this launch. And hopefully they'll do better in the future, hopefully. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow, which is going to be Sunday, for my new makeup releases video. Alrighty guys, bye.